Okay, so today's episode is just gonna be an in general, like, mega angry video, because I know from my channel, right, you guys have realized this girl watches a ton, very upset. So I want to talk about it because I don't know if anybody else has noticed it or even brought this to anybody else's attention. So before we hop into the video proper, a big shout out to patrons, a big shout out to the editor, and a big shout out to you, the lovely subscribers. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and thank you so much for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, all that other crap, because YouTube hates creators. Let's get into this. There is a problem in anime as a whole that bothers me, and it bothers me a lot. If you watched Goblin Slayer, it's in the very first episode. If you watched Sword Art Online, it's in season 2. If you watched the Resurrected Healer, where it's the guy that's just going back to his life, and yeah, realistically, this problem prevails throughout all of anime. Those are just the most recent examples that I can bring to the forefront of my mind, because anything else is gonna make me mega upset. And the reason why it's gonna make me mega upset is because it seems to be everywhere. The unconsensual touching of everybody in this. Like, again, right? I understand this is like something you absolutely want to write about, but to go into such graphic detail makes me wonder if maybe you're not a mega closet perv that doesn't want to talk about it. And this is just a problem specifically, right, in anime in general. It's not even... Actually, I take that back. It's not even a problem specifically in anime. It is a problem just specifically in any industry. They seem to want to push this one particular trope, and I don't understand why. Like, it bothers me. It bothers me a lot. Because people that have had this happen to them, it's not fun. Do you know how messed up you've made people from pushing this weird ideal of, like, this is a good story, and then you don't even do it right? You just tee-hee wave it away because they get over it magically. No, they don't. It's weird. It's gross and weird, and it bothers me so much. And I'm gonna use Goblin Slayer as a really great example, because when I talked to my editor, right, Celestial, about this, I was like, yeah, Crunchyroll recommended me this. First thing out of his mouth, yeah, no, they have that in, like, the very first episode. You're probably not gonna like it. Usually I have a 3-episode thing, right? I watch 6 in total for the night when I'm done with work. You get 3 episodes before I'm like, yep, we're gonna commit to this, or nope, I gave it a good college try and we're not gonna. I didn't even give Goblin Slayer the benefit of 3 because I got to that scene and immediately was like, nope, that's okay, I'ma go. And when I talked to Celestial about this, his response to me was, and I quote, "It's to establish how horrible the goblins are." And I was like, you could have picked anything else to establish this other than this one thing. I would have figured from all the other debauchery that they had been doing prior to being told this, that this was on their docket list just by happenstance. And in case that flew over your head, I would have assumed that of course they were going to do this because you've shown me that they're right bastards throughout the rest of the anime. I wouldn't need to be told that this is like the hill they're gonna die on. I would have assumed it. Again, you can allude to it, you can even vaguely gesture in that direction. People will still get it. I'm of the opinion now where it's just like, this seems to be coming up as like good storytelling, and it's not. It's bad storytelling. And I'm gonna let you know right now, Promising Young Woman, that movie, yes, chef's kiss. The reason why is twofold. Number one, it's not even about the main character that this happened to her. She is getting secondary trauma from what happened to her friend, which is a way more interesting story, is because it didn't even happen to you. Why do you care? Of course she cares. It's very important to talk about. And number two, the most important reason, number two, it shows that this ruins people's lives, not just the person it happened to. It infects everybody in the immediate social group, if they actually give a shit about it. But do you see? That movie itself, even though it ended really horribly, like I'm not going to spoil it, but if you haven't seen it, it ends really horribly. The movie itself is gold. But do you see what I mean? That movie, all by itself, talks more about this than anything else I've seen, and I'm really glad that we finally got a movie to talk about it. Granted, the ending wasn't great, but also it was so realistic that I couldn't even be mad about it. So, yes, it is good. But it's the reason why, when people try and push this particular trope and they don't do what Promising Young Woman did, it makes me uncomfortable, because if you're gonna talk about it, can you at least talk about it in a mad, respectful way? Because the people that go through it. Like, it ruins them. It really does. And it bothers me is because, in case you skipped your notice, this is an opposition of video. There's a lot of different ways to write about this without actually sitting down and writing, like, explicit detail. Now, another friend, we were talking about this, hi Claudia, and she was like, well, what about when that's, like, people's, like, weird little fetish fantasy? I'm like, a weird little fetish fantasy is drastically different than when it actually happens without consent. The weird little fetish fantasy is, both of you have talked about this, and it's a game, and there's a way, the exit is right there at all times, right? If you do it with a partner that actually listens to you, the exit is right there all the time. You have an immediate stop button to everything. It doesn't happen like that in real life when it's non-consensual. There is no stop button. There is nobody gonna listen to you. It's a power move for creepy pervs. And before somebody says, oh yeah, the guys, no. Men and women, right? Men and women can get in on this shit. It's just, we don't talk about women as much as because, he probably liked it. No, that's not how this works. There is no standard for it's only men or it's only women. People in general can be really crappy to each other, and we just don't talk about it. I'm opposed to this because it bothers me so much, and I'm hoping it bothers other people too. So from a writing viewpoint, if you're gonna put this into your book, maybe write about the aftermath of it instead, because that has a lot more going for it, because if you're just gonna specifically write that, you need to talk to somebody, because I think you've got a lot of damage, and you need to, like, work through it. But again, that's a personal opinion. So that's really all I've got to say on this. In conclusion, thank you so much for coming to my very short TED Talk, and I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Bye!
I just want